I became a billionaire when I was 30 years old. That doesn't make me a pushover.
Archie Channing is a businessman with a ruthless reputation.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
I want everyone that owns a dog executed.
Yes, right now!
But all of that is about to change.
What are we to do with him?
He has no redeeming value whatsoever.
They won't let me in heaven. It's too late.
It's never too late to change, Archie. They want you to go back as a dog. They said I'll be the only one who'll be able to see you as you once were. Everyone else will see you as Quigley.
Call the guards! Call animal control!
What do I do now that I'm Quigley?
Your brother, Woodward.
I should have helped him.
You can still do that.
Look, I asked him for help once, and he completely humiliated me.
Now, to get out of the doghouse,
What can I do?
This is something you have to do for yourself.
he's got one chance to make things right.
He saved my life. I think we should keep him.
And he's about to discover
Want to watch my daddy's game? You think he can play with us?
the biggest blessings in life
Oh, he's got my game!
Where is he going?
I don't know, but those are my only copies!
come in small packages.
What are you doing with my games? Your games, the dog brought them in. These games are the best we've ever seen. You folks should have a seat then while we have a contract drawn up.
Gary Busey, Curtis Armstrong, Christopher Atkins, and Oz Perkins.
His name is Quigley, and he's my very best friend.
That's quite a dog you've got there.
Thank you.
Quigley.
Welcome to They Call This a Movie, testing the strength of friendships one terrible movie at a time. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and all podcast services by searching They Call This a Movie, and find us on Blue Sky, Threads, and Instagram at TicTamPod. That's TCTAM Pod. Welcome back to They Call This a Movie. This is Anthony Del Vecchio. With me, as always, is Dan Aquino and Mark Myers. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hey, friends.
Hello, everyone. We don't have to dwell on this too long, but I think this past week, since the last time we spoke here, it was a thing where I, started to really appreciate some of this stuff I do, outside of like work and things going on in the world. Essentially, this is my first time expecting this. It just came to a real realization over the shitty stuff that happened last week in our country with things, and then I was like, oh man, it sucks, all this crazy stuff going on. And then, Saturday I got to, before streaming, got to hang out, with my nieces doing things with softball. And then Sunday, me and Aunt went and saw a wrestling event. And it was just like, you know what? There's some good things going on. It's sort of like I had fun despite every shitty thing going on. But that was, every week I try to figure something to discuss on here. And this is the most important thing that happened, was just finally understanding that, that whole saying, only really worry about the things you can change and stop worrying about the things you can't. And I think I finally got back in a headspace to actually do that this weekend. So
Yeah, you gotta live your life.
Yeah.
Live your life.
I don't. Yeah, and it's fun. I know you guys have this sort of distraction's probably the wrong word, but needing to actually raise another human being.
He's calling our kids distractions.
Well, I'll explain my point, and maybe the term still works. You have this thing to worry about and care for that you can't really dwell too much on. The shitty things going on. So I don't have that. So having a thing where softball season starting up, going to events with you guys, I think really coming out of, we had this discussion earlier, but maybe this 2025 is me realizing that, the seasonal depression would actually be a thing I kind of have, and this week was another moment of realizing that, March to April and all that, for many, many reasons, lifts my spirits.
No, good, because if it doesn't go away, then it's just depression. You should probably figure that out.
Yeah, full blown depression.
Full blown depression. Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, Mark.
Yeah.
Having a child, it doesn't stop me from worrying about anything else. It just adds on to the worries.
Okay.
It does kind of make it worse because you're like, what did I bring this being into?
It's an existential sort of. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a legitimate conversation I had with my wife. You realize we're going to be bringing a new life form into this hellscape. We're directly responsible for the pain and suffering that he will endure.
But
right?
Dan, what if your kid is John Connor?
I'd rather he
leader of the
die.
resistance.
I'd rather he die. I don't want him to go through fighting the sentient AI. That's terrible. That's a terrible way to live. They all live underground. They're eating rats. I don't want that for my kid. I'd rather see him die.
Yeah.
I am so happy for that answer, Dan.
And like pre-kid, it's like there's less to lose, right?
Sure.
That's true.
Yeah. You got nothing to lose if you don't obviously at some point you can just lose cannon.
Yeah. You don't have any stakes in the game.
Yeah. You could pull a Mario's brother.
Yeah.
That's true. It took me a second to
patron
realize
saint.
what you were.
Yeah.
It's like Mario's brother. Like, I don't know what he's getting. And it clicked. It clicked. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. But...
no,
So,
I get it. You could get a mansion and fight ghosts. I get it. Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe travel the world looking for your brother and Mario's missing.
Yeah. All valid things to do with your life when you don't have a child.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should be doing those things.
I think
it's up to you, Mark.
Yeah, we can't make that decision for you.
I should buy a mansion and fight ghosts. Got it.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's what we meant.
Yeah. That's what we're not advocating for. Anything else, Mark?
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Yes.
I will say.
How bad do you want an inexpensive Switch 2? That's the question.
Real bad. No.
I was on a small world when I found out that shit was happening. Like I can't think of a worse place to see that news come through with the blaring music of It's a Small World and hey, your Switch 2 just jumped up $200.
Well, you could probably point out what you could go through. It's Small World, and it's like, oh, you guys are getting 30% tariffs.
Yeah. I should have pointed out. Well, they did have penguins there. I could have told them, hey, 10%. Get in on this, penguins. You better call him. Go to the negotiating table.
You start an army of It's a Small World animatronics, like the end of March of the Wooden Soldiers.
Oh,
storm the Capitol building.
God, I wish I wish I was there so I could have taken a video. Like, this is your tariff percentage, this is yours. And also, Small World, kind of racist at times. They kind of need to update that ride. Maybe don't worry about Thunder Mountain as much as updating Small World, because
just a little bit.
Yeah, there's some questionable things that are in that ride.
Are you just like the Dutch boys and girls wearing the wooden shoes, among other things?
Well, sure, that's one of those things. I'm more like the tribal area. I won't say what they're doing, but I'm sure most of the people listening know.
Yeah,
but it would be hilarious. It was like before Walt died, he had to put like a stipulation in: you cannot change a thing about Small World. This is how I know the world, and it'll never change.
In a completely unrelated note to something we talked about earlier, I just applied for a gun permit.
Really?
There you go.
No.
Oh, okay. We talked about it. Like, man, I can't think of a worse idea than me with a gun.
Yeah.
I hopefully no one listens to this and it's like, all right, we got to go rob him now because we know he won't get a gun.
Well, Dan, you have your swords.
That's true. You're a sword guy.
I am a sword guy. Listen, Andoril, that's like a 5-foot long sword. So I got the reach on people. If they bring a knife to a sword fight, I should be okay.
You're a melee guy. You're not a ranged weapon guy.
I'm a ranger. I'm a ranger. Like, I love animals. I carry swords.
You like the
I
New
like
York
archery.
Rangers?
I like the New York Rangers. I support our park rangers. I'm a ranger, baby. That's how I have my two dog familiars with me. It's the perfect setup. I have low hit points. It's great.
No discernible skills.
Yeah, no real. Yeah, that's I can kind of start a fire, and I can kind of tell where if I'm going a certain direction. I usually get lost, but yeah, I think I could pass as that. Sure.
All right. Well, welcome back, Dan.
Thank you.
Before we get into this week's movie that you picked for us, we announced, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, we announced our Patreon, which is currently live. And you can find that at patreon.com/tictampod, TCTAM pod. And it's live. And right now there is our $1 tier called the Breenius tier. And that you get access to our Discord and a promise of ad-free episodes regardless of what happens with the main feed. So currently we have no ads on our main feed, so we don't have to worry about that right now, but in perpetuity, our Discord will have ad-free episodes. But it is a work in progress. We are thinking about ideas for higher tiers, as well as maybe a little bit more for the $1 tier. So that's a work in progress. But currently you go to, if you want to just show your support as minimal as Patreon will allow, that is patreon.com/TCTAMpod. Help us out a great deal. Let's check that out. All right. So getting into this week's movie, it was Dan's pick. So Dan, why don't you introduce this week's movie?
Cool. So I picked a 2003 movie starring Gary Busey and Osgood Perkins, the now acclaimed horror director. And the movie is Quigley. It's a movie about apparently from the Tubi description, a practical joker who dies and comes back as a dog because he hates dogs. And he has to basically learn to become a better person while helping others as this dog. And I am so happy I picked this. Then the reason why I chose it was I remember hearing a story about the time that Gary Busey almost died in real life and said he had gone to heaven. And during the filming of this movie, he shut down production for a day because the set of heaven didn't look like the heaven that he went to. So he insisted that it looked the way that he remembered heaven being. And apparently heaven looks like a waiting room to him because that's what it looks like in this movie. So I wanted to check out what this movie had going on, and I was very happy with it. It's not a good movie, but I'm happy that I chose it because Gary Busey looks like he just kind of wandered onto a set that was filming a dog movie and just started acting, and they were like, all right, we're just going to film around this and make a movie now, because there's no discernible there's no real discernible acting direction for Busey. Mm-hmm. He wears a dog collar throughout the whole movie, and he really doesn't need to wear the dog collar as a person, I think. But maybe that was just a choice he made. I don't know. The cutscenes between him as Gary Busey and him as a dog are incredibly jarring. In 1 minute he's Gary Busey, and the next he's a dog. So I didn't quite understand the rules of this movie at times, which made it all the more fun for me. I kept guessing, and my son apparently loved this movie. He was captivated by it. So,
well, that's what they say about Gary Busey.
Yeah,
the kids love him.
Everyone's going to see the new Gary Busey picture. I feel so bad for him because I was looking back through his IMDb from before he went fucking crazy, and because of the motorcycle accident where he went to heaven, and he was so good. He was in so many good movies, right? Buddy Holly, Lethal Weapon, Point Break, and he was a solid actor. And then you see what happens later on, and then like how it contributes to this movie happening, where he's he's like taking pratfalls and just falling into bushes, making strange dialogue choices. Like the one line, like it hurt my leg to pee. This guy was Buddy Holly. I think he was nominated for an Oscar for that movie. and this is what's going on now. It's sad. It's really sad what happened to him. He was a nominee for Best Actor for the Buddy Holly story in 1979, and now this. It's like it's more like, I know people like ragging on him, and I will rag on him in this episode. But it's sad to see where he kind of had that falling from grace because he had the traumatic brain injury. But yeah, this movie is it's a better Love on a Leash, I'll say, because of the dog references and all that, the comparisons. Because this actually had a score and sound editing, but it's not much better in terms of acting.
Yeah, I do want to add to the story about him on set. Read this trivia from the Quigley trivia page on IMDb. Gary Busey reportedly threw a fit on set because the set of Heaven didn't look like the quote-unquote real Heaven, which Busey claimed to have seen after almost dying in a motorcycle accident in 1988. His fit became a fist fight when another actor, who also claimed to have seen the real Heaven, disagreed with Busey's description, and production was shut down for the day.
I didn't know that part. That's even better. Who was it? Who was the one that...
It doesn't say.
Oh, that's amazing. I wonder what the other person's idea of Heaven was.
Maybe this was closer to what they thought.
Okay, maybe they kind of met in the middle. I don't know, but the problem is Gary Busey was probably getting paid more, so his version won out, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
probably. So Quigley from 2003 is directed by William Byron Hillman, who's directed movies called The Man from Clover Grove, The Photographer, Double Exposure, Ragin' Cajun, The Adventures of Ragtime, and Get Her. Stars Gary Busey, Osgood Perkins, Curtis Armstrong, Christopher Atkins, Karen Greenhut, Gillian Clare, Bill Fagerbakke, and Dorian Wilson. IMDb score of 2.6, Rotten Tomato score, no critics, but 26 audience score. Budget, $1.7 million. Estimated. Plot. A rich asshole finally gets what he deserves when CEO Gary Busey dies in a one-car accident. When he gets to the afterlife, the ones in charge decide to send him back to Earth to clean up his messes, but in the form of a fluffy Pomeranian named Quigley. Back on Earth, with an observing angel by the name of Sweeney, Gary Busey walks around with a dog collar as he tries to undo a quote-unquote practical joke he was going to play on his company and his right-hand man, and to help his estranged brother, a struggling video game developer, and his family. So, Mark, where are you coming from with Quigley?
So I was excited for the surprise Dauber appearance in this episode. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, and because this movie was full of a bunch of I know that guy character actors in it. So I was expecting, I mean, I knew it was going to be terrible just by seeing the 2.6 on IMDb, which is, to be that low, you have to be really bad. I was hoping that there was a little more Gary Busey acting like a dog in this, because I got my hopes up early when they meet the person outside the store or whatever, and then he drops to all fours. Like, I thought it was going to be like one of those things where the actors see the dog, but yet we see Gary Busey. Out there, but that it was boring in the fact that I kind of got what the point was, and then they kind of completely hit you over the head with something kind of out of nowhere at the end. Throughout the whole movie, they're having him, supposed to go back and do good deeds because you never were a good person or whatever. And then at the end, they're like, oh, no, you don't get into heaven because of good deeds. You have to have faith. And I'm like, well, this discredits like 90% of this movie. He could have just went back and said he loved Jesus and didn't have to do any of this shit.
Well, that's how the religion's supposed to work anyway, right? If you repent before you die, you're all good in his eyes.
That was just, I was like, all right, I understood this was probably had a lot of Christian leaning. Well, outside of the heaven part and all that, obviously. I was just waiting for the shoe to drop of when are they going to push, and then they leave it till like the very end of the movie for that. I loved a lot of the Lassie moments with the dog, where he was able to communicate things, and the humans around him were the dumbest people on earth. Especially the mom. She's like, the dog's barking and running away, and the mom's like, "Oh, you," and then goes back to mopping. Like, you wouldn't be interested in why the dog keeps barking at you and then running away. But yeah, and I have no idea how that little girl got lost, to be honest. It just seemed like she just kept walking for like literally no reason. Like when you're putting signs up in the neighborhood for a missing dog, you don't walk as far away as she apparently did.
Mark, and she's probably got the same problem Dan does. Just no sense of direction.
No sense of direction. Yeah, but it's more adorable when they do it. It's sad when I do it.
And I also like that the fact that she had no awareness to, all she did was just stand by that tree. Like, no thought to, hey, let me see if I can maybe find a road or some kind of path. It just makes me think how terrible of a parent they were to never teach her that. But anyway, it was one of those movies where I could check my phone and not miss anything, really. Never really felt the need to rewind at any point. Until they announced what the brother did, I thought it was going to be like some kind of like Christmas Carol thing where it was like 3 separate stories, sort of, that he would have to go. He helped the business. Now he helps his brother. And now he maybe does something else, but none of them are connected. Just having the random connection to everything at the end. Was I guess, okay, but I didn't need it. The funniest thing about it being a guy that hosts a video game podcast is that both games they showed on here just looked like the shittiest shovelware stuff from the early 2000s.
But my favorite part of the movie was when what's his name, the partner, Curtis Armstrong. Yeah, he's playing the game and he goes, "This is the best game I've ever played."
It's a game for like literal children.
Right. My wife goes, "This is the only game I've ever played. It's great."
Hand-drawn cartoon characters skipping stones in a lake.
Yeah. I had no idea what that game was about. Yeah, because they went, "You're on to level 4," and then it was like they're at a picnic, and I'm like, "What is this game?" But yeah, it was ridiculous. Like obviously they weren't gonna have a great video game, but just showing that crappy Flashware game and then him saying it's the, and then I don't know salaries in game development, but being offered $500,000 on the spot for just showing one game, I don't think that happens. But yeah, it was. I kind of got the whole point of the movie. It was really badly done, and you can probably attest for this better than I can. They did a really bad job with their boom mics, I think, because, there were times when they would get louder the closer they got to the camera.
Yeah, the audio was bad.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's just we're used to some movies that have ADR, and make up for that, or if they were just, didn't get the boom close enough or whatever.
Sure.
As they were walking. But yeah, my main thing is I was hoping there was more Gary Busey acting like a dog, because that would have been the funny part of the movie. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. There's not much meat to this movie in terms of criticizing story or anything like that.
Sure. As for me, I saw this on our calendar for the longest time, however long this was on here, and I thought we were in for a Tom Selleck Western. because I know there's a movie called Quigley Down Under, stars Tom Selleck, and I always thought that was a sequel to a movie called Quigley, starring Tom Selleck, not Down Under.
Sure. Just regular Tom Selleck.
Just regular Quigley.
Yeah.
Quigley the First. But apparently, no. This movie is a movie about a Pomeranian with the soul of Gary Busey in it. I do remember this Best of the Worst episode from Red Letter Media.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this movie is I do agree with Mark. I do kind of wish there was a little more unhinged Gary Busey. Not to say that he isn't unhinged here, but he's a little muted here.
Yeah.
The best part of this movie is the dog. Dog is the best actor in the film.
By far.
You know, it's a shame that no one decided to clean his eye.
Oh,
he had a runny eye the entire movie.
Yeah, I felt so bad for him.
But he's super cute. He's a good little actor, pushing chairs.
With the help of, I don't know if you saw there's someone's hand pulling the chair.
Pushing chairs and standing on his hind legs, walking around.
What? Who did he remind you of, Ant?
Rory Calhoun.
Yeah, that's who it was. Rory Calhoun. A young Rory Calhoun. That's immediately what I thought of. I had written down.
Yeah. I like the fact that his brother is like a blue collar video game designer. Like he comes home like he just spent a 12-hour shift at the power plant. And like I was just like, oh yeah, no one's gonna buy my video games. Like, what are you talking about? You just came from the coal mine.
Yeah.
With your denim on denim.
And it was another one of those things in television, like the joke is about the Friends cast. Like, it's her being a stay-at-home mom and what he does for a living. How do they afford that house in LA? Right.
It was 2003. Maybe
That's
things
true.
were a little, things were cheaper.
Yeah.
But
and also they have, I don't think that Ford Envoy is a very cheap car.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, it's curious. I wish we would have known what he did a little bit. We don't know anything about anybody in this movie.
He makes the greatest video game of all time. What are you kidding?
Yeah, and the other point being, unless if he takes public transportation, that is also their second vehicle.
Right. If this movie goes on for another 20 minutes, we find out that video game bankrupts the company.
Yeah.
Well, it's too late. They gave him $500,000.
Oh no!
Did they?
Well, it's just a handshake agreement at that point.
Right. Yeah. But it's also a dream.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. That pissed me off. That really pissed me off.
Yeah. We never really talk about that, but all of this, it's really a very A Christmas Carol sort of story, right? He's supposed to be in this car accident he's supposed to die. Mm-hmm. But he never really did. But along the way, he learned he gets himself a soul and realizes that he has to make amends to his partner, his company, and his brother. Mm-hmm. But none of that happened, from what I understand.
No, not really. Because again, like Mark mentioned before, when he goes back to heaven, like, yeah, well, you're still not a great guy.
Yeah, yeah. But the brother when he goes to meet up with him and make amends, like the brother doesn't have a video game job, right?
No,
and
I don't think so.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that he knows that he shouldn't know in that scene.
And the corporation has moved on with him with the idea that he's dead in the dream sequence, I suppose.
Yeah.
So
they talk about it a few times. Well, Archie's gone. Now it's up to Dexter to carry on.
Yeah. Also, like, I do have a problem with them calling him like a practical joker.
He doesn't pull any practical jokes.
Right? I don't.
And I had no idea that CD thing was supposed to be a practical joke.
Yeah, it's very convoluted about what this CD was.
Do they explain what it was at any point?
I think it's supposed. So, like, during his accident, there's like a voiceover of him, like, saying some things, like about how the rest of how the company is going to be run from now on or whatever. Oh,
right. Yeah, he's talking about mainly the like animal control policy.
And he's going to like everybody will like all extended vacations is limited to like a week. It's basically just a shitty CEO. I don't think it was a joke. I didn't get practical joker from him.
No.
I got shitty guy that shouldn't exist.
Right. Regular CEO talk.
Yeah.
Right. Boilerplate CEO.
Yeah.
Someone that Mario's brother would be looking up.
Yeah, future guillotine
recipient
victim.
Yeah, I agree. You don't see him pull, even as the dog. He doesn't do any practical jokes. He like pees on someone's briefcase. That's not a practical joke. That's just you being a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, nothing is really, like I said before, nothing is explained about anyone. We don't know why Gary Busey's character hates dogs. He just says they're always in a hurry. That's why he doesn't like dogs.
Yeah.
Like that's not true either. Like my dogs sleep all day.
Exactly.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, dude.
Yeah. He's kind of a piece of shit. But like also I thought Christopher Atkins was a decent casting for Gary Busey's sane younger brother.
There is a resemblance there for sure.
Like, okay, I could see it.
Yeah. No, not bad at all. I agree. It's I think we needed to learn a little bit more about him as well. Because again, we don't know what the job he does, but we know he gets laid off from it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we also learn that he's kind of like misogynistic. Right? He tells the wife, "No, you need to stay here." Well, why?
Yeah.
You also need to keep a roof over your head, and if she can find a job, is that not more important?
She got the most important job in the world, Dan.
True.
She takes care of the kids.
Right.
That's another thing they drop late in the movie. Trad wife things.
Yeah. Thinking back on it, now that we know that at the end of the movie it was all a dream in Gary Busey's head, he's thinking everything up. So in his mind, his nephew has a Hawaiian Punch poster over his bed. But if you know Gary Busey, that makes total sense, right?
I think technically that kid's got 2 Hawaiian Punch posters over his bed.
It was weird when I first saw it. And I was like, why? What kid ever had an Hawaiian Punch poster over his bed? But then when I thought back on it, it's like, well, this is all in Gary Busey's scrambled mind. So 100% that's something that could happen.
Yeah. Well, he did say, there is a trivia on IMDb that he says that he helped set design on this movie, so it's entirely possible.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Just shutting down production for every set piece. There has to be a Hawaiian Punch posters in this kid's room. Whatever you say, Mr. Busey, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's amazing, though. I want Gary Busey to do more set decorations.
Yeah, this is kind of a shitty movie.
Yeah,
but it kept
myself watching. But
yes,
it also felt long though.
It
felt a little long,
especially with the Tubi commercials. It dragged it out a little bit.
I think by like the hour mark, I was like, "Oof, still got like a half hour of this movie left."
Yeah, it definitely stretches time. It stretches that time frame. Some scenes drag on, and there's most of the jokes never land. Right, with the security guards, they keep kind of going back to the security guards where to fill time. It's like, oh man, enough of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And also in Gary Busey's mind, the custodian is German for no discernible reason.
Yeah,
he serves no purpose. There's just a lot of things that are strange additions to this movie where I think you have a pretty cut and dry plot, like you said, Ant, right? This is It's a Wonderful Life, but he's a dog.
Yeah.
So you could have just ran with that and kind of cut the fat around it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Who really cares?
Yeah. I could have used more shenanigans. I think as much as I didn't like the bumbling off guards and stuff, it does kind of drag when the story shifts its focus to the brother and his family.
Okay. I think that needed to be the main storyline.
Yeah, that's fine, but like what is this movie supposed to be? Is it supposed to be like a fun family movie, or is it supposed to be like a Christian delivery system? And it's probably the latter, but
yeah,
it pretends it's the former for most of it.
I agree.
And that's a more interesting movie to me, to be like just kind of a wacky Gary Busey as a dog movie.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that version of this movie, but I think once you get to the family aspect of it, it goes away. It's not wacky anymore. It's about a guy about to lose his job, and then eventually does lose his job, and then somehow gets a $500,000 job contract because of his awful awful video game.
There's like, we can't stress enough how bad the video game looks.
Yeah.
And it's not a good sign when the movie begins with the clip art that's in the video game, essentially. So like you kind of know what you're in for straight out of the shoot with the opening credits.
Yeah.
I agree. I think this movie needed to be a little bit more silly.
Yeah. Final thoughts, Dan?
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't hate myself watching this movie. It kept my attention mainly because I really didn't know where the movie was going to go. I loved the dog in this movie. I thought he did a very good job just doing what he was told, I guess. But he was fun to watch. Always enjoy a good dog movie. Yeah, I was interested in this movie again because of Osgood Perkins. He directed a couple of my most recent favorite horror movies, The Blackcoat's Daughter and Longlegs. And it's interesting to see him as the like Clarence of the movie.
Yeah.
Right, he's supposed to kind of be the guardian angel or like show him how to be a better person. And I kind of forgot that he was an actor prior to becoming a director. He was in Legally Blonde, right? He's the he's the outcast in the law school.
The awkward guy.
Yeah, he's the awkward guy. So yeah, just like an interesting thing to go back and see him. You kind of earn his, or pay his dues, as they say in the business. Now that you had mentioned it, you guys mentioned it. Seeing Gary Busey kind of tame was a mistake. He probably could have been unleashed a little bit more, no pun intended. Not a good movie, but harmless really. It's worth a watch if you're just curious to see Gary Busey act like a dog for a little bit.
All right, Mark.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, my main thing, and I think we're all in agreement here, is that I wish it was a little more goofier and less Christian focused in there. You could have been fine doing the "It's a Wonderful Life" idea or the Scrooge idea, and not have the whole thing at the end. And still had a pretty decent movie. I felt like they had like this. I think the gem of this story starts with the idea of a guy coming back as a dog who hates dogs, and then they sort of just built a story around that. For some reason, I feel like was like the genesis of this, and that's why it kind of feels a little disconnected for things, because it seems like they were sort of trying to figure out a way, and then maybe the person wanted to, because the writer is the director, maybe he wanted to, push a little bit of, little bit of faith-based stuff in there. That's why it all seems kind of weird and strange. And the one bit I did kind of like in it was the fact that God talked to Sweeney by rolling thunder. I was like, all right, that's good. That's a good bit without needing somebody to be the voice of God. Which then they ruin at the end.
I was just saying, they think they have God at the end.
Yeah, it's like everything about this movie comes down to, it's pretty decent, and then they ruin it at the end. Like, literally, just last 10 minutes of this movie is like, how do we make a shittier movie shittier? Well, we just did it. Every single choice they make from the moment he goes back up to heaven just tanks this movie even more. And yeah, it's kind of impressive in that sense that you can take a 80-minute movie that's pretty fine, good G-rated kids movie maybe, and then just spend the final 10 minutes trying to make sure the audience gets your moral point across, and then just actively making the movie worse. It's kind of impressive. Yeah.
Okay. As for me, yeah, I echo all sentiments. Gary Busey, not as whacked out as he should be for a movie about him becoming a dog. And yeah, I think this movie could have done with being a little wackier, just a little bit. Even if that just means that the guards are in it for longer. I think at the very least, then you have like a fun, family-friendly movie instead of like this a movie that doesn't seem like it knows what it wants to be and shifts focus like halfway through the movie, which I thought was an odd choice to do. But the dog's cute. It's interesting to see Osgood Perkins as an actor, knowing that he went on to do the movies I like and then other movies that I really didn't like, actually. He's like 50-50 for me. But yeah, Pomeranians, they're very cute.
It's the one thing you take away from this
breed.
movie.
A small but hardy breed, as they say on Bluey.
I like that. That's a great episode. His pet rock got a pet rock.
That is a good episode.
Yeah. That's going to be in our Patreon, by the way. It's just going to be us reviewing Bluey.
Yeah. We'll do some commentaries.
Why not? 7-minute episodes. It's great.
Yeah, 7-minute episodes. Every Muffin episode will be a special episode.
Oh man, we can. I think you and I can have a debate about Muffin, because it sounds like you're pro Muffin.
I'm pro Muffin.
Well, I'm staunchly anti Muffin.
I embrace chaos.
That's true. You are an agent of chaos. I yearn for order.
All right, so yeah, that is our talk on Quigley as well as a little Bluey / Muffin. So we are going to take a quick break and come back with a third segment. But before we do, Dan, what do you got for us?
All right, guys, real quick, please take a moment out of your day to check out our very good friend, Mark Myers. He works hard on the Game Vault podcast. He mentioned it earlier, where he is talking about new video games coming out, not the Switch 2 because it's too expensive here now. But maybe in a few months when things change, he'll be talking about the Switch 2 games that he's playing for that. But yeah, he's running a very good podcast, comes out every Monday, talking about video game news, games that he's playing, things that you should be on the lookout for. So if you are into video games, I would highly, highly recommend listening to his podcast. Please go over to your podcast platform of choice, rate and review him. It helps him out a great deal, and he definitely deserves it. He's on all socials at Game Vault Pod. He also streams on Twitch at Game Vault Pod. So he's playing old games, he's playing newer games, so he's got something for everybody. Please go subscribe, hang out with him in the chat, tell him we sent you. And again, that's Game Vault Pod on Twitch.
Okay, great. And we are going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with the third segment, so don't go anywhere. And welcome back. It's now time for our final segment, and this segment is a tier list. Fellas, we are ranking fictional dogs. So I'm going to go live right now. Let me know when you could see this tier list.
Yeah, good. That's some.
We got some great dogs here. They're all good boys, good girls. Some of them, most of them. But we're going to rank them. And let's start with Mark. Mark, you seem we have some opinions. So where are we starting?
Yeah, so let's start off. I don't want to show all my cards right away. Let's start off with Blue. Blue is S tier. He's just helping. He's helping Steve solve puzzles. He's reading the mail. He's teaching kids things. Blue definitely S. That's a good girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
You surprised me there because I didn't realize that Blue was a girl.
Yeah, I forgot about that as well. But yeah, she's a good girl.
All right, Dan, where are you going?
All right, I'm gonna go Pongo, next to Parappa the Rappa.
Mm-hmm.
And was that Mr. Peabody? So I'm gonna go Pongo. An amazing dad, raising 101 kids. Probably the best dad in history, right? I think any other dad probably would have walked out on that kind of family. But Pongo went looking for every single one of his kids after they were kidnapped or dognapped by Cruella de Vil, and he didn't give up. He made sure that all 101 Dalmatians were returned. That's an S-tier dog to me.
And I'm sure some of them were shitty kids, but he still went and looked for them anyway.
Yeah. How easy could it have been for him to say, oh, I only found 70 of my 101 dogs, or you leave one or two out, Who's going to miss the last dog? No, he said every single one of those dogs is just as important as the next.
Yeah, and only 15 of them were his.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you don't remember that? Like Purdy gives birth to 15. They get stolen, and then at the house, they meet up with all the rest of them.
Oh, I thought Perdita gave birth to 101.
What? I mean, first of all, it's only 99 puppies. You include Purdy and Pongo in that 101.
Right, you're right.
But good lord, what do you think happened with that?
I thought that was the magic of Disney.
Have you not seen 101 Dalmatians?
I did see it, but it's been a long time.
These are very specific plot points.
I could have sworn that she gave birth to 101. Regardless, that's even better. That's even better then, because those aren't his kids, and he still went out of his way to get them.
Raising other man's kids.
Yeah, some would say he's a cuck. I would not.
He was the dad that stepped up.
He was You're right. That's a good point, Mark. Yeah, that's S tier for sure.
All right. I almost feel like I need an S tier as well now. I'm gonna go with the easy one. I don't even think it needs any discussion. Snoopy's an S tier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he does it all. He fights
the Germans.
Snoopy's definitely an Antifa.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he 100%. But he is capitalist.
Is he? I forgot about that.
Yeah. Right. The lights and display contest at Christmas.
Oh, that's right.
Win money, money, money. He's a capitalist. He likes the green. I mean, we all can't be perfect, but
yeah. But he fought for the Allies. He took down the Nazis.
Yeah.
Did he fight in both World Wars?
I think
so. Because right, the Christmas song is the Red Baron. That's World War I.
Yeah.
And then in the cartoons, he's fighting the Nazis. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
Hard to say he's not a good boy when he's fighting the Nazis.
That's true. Greatest generation for a reason. All right, Mark, where are you going?
Yeah, I mean, I think through the first three here, Ant, we've been way too positive. I think we got to look at this list critically, and let's put McGruff the crime dog in the F tier. A cab.
Mm-hmm. A cab. Well, it only goes to D, but yeah, McGruff.
D for Dick.
Yeah, he's a cop. He's a narc at the very least.
Yeah, he wanted to know where your kids were. That's suspicious.
Yeah. That's a bottom tier dog if I ever heard one.
Don't worry about where my kid is, McGruff. Worry about your own stuff. Yeah. All right, I'm not narking on my kid. I told you I don't know where he is.
All right, Dan, where are you going?
Let's go Max from How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Okay.
S tier. I mean,
sure.
Yeah, I mean,
he is an accomplice of trying to. This is the animated version of it. First of all,
yeah, no,
but he is an accomplice of trying to steal Christmas.
He's a victim. All right, the Grinch.
I don't know if I could argue against that. Yeah,
yeah. The Grinch bullies Max relentlessly, hangs it over his head that he rescued him. Right, like, without me, you'd still be out in the cold. Blah blah blah. So Max doesn't want to be in on this. He's forced to do it. And you can see he doesn't want to do it. So I think Max, and at towards the end, he helps him realize, he helps the Grinch realize he's a dick as well. So I think Max, he knows deep down the heart of Christmas. And I think just because he's abused and he deserves some love from us, the people, I think he deserves S tier.
Okay. I'm going to go with Brain from Inspector Gadget.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's S tier.
Okay, yeah. I got nervous.
No, I see where you're thinking, but him along with Penny has got Inspector Gadget's back and really doing most if not all of the work.
Yeah,
and keeping Dr. Claw from ruling the world. And you know what? Asking for no accolades. He's not in it for his ego. He's in it for the game.
Yeah, he likes solving crimes and stuff like that. He likes solving those puzzles, right?
Yep. And he's keeping his best friend Penny out of harm.
Yeah, and he can talk.
Does he talk?
I think so. Very little. Not like a Brian from Family Guy, but he could talk a little bit.
All right. Mark, where are you going?
Yeah, so I wouldn't be a guy that hosts a video game podcast if I didn't give S tier to Rush from Mega Man. He's
Sure.
2 over from Stimpy. Yeah, or Ren. Sorry. Yeah, S tier. He's always there when Mega Man needs him. If he's got to jump on his back to get to a higher place, it's fine. If he's got to turn him into a jet and then just leave him fall into a pit, Rush is all about it. He's man's best friend.
Okay.
S tier.
Dan, where
Good
you
boy.
going? Dan, where you going?
I don't think anyone will argue this. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Just one of the best dogs in cartoon history. Even defending a man who openly despises him. But he's always there to save the old man and the woman. I forget their names. But taking on ghosts and monsters. If that doesn't get you S tier, I don't know what does. Courage is he's one of the best to do it.
Mm-hmm. All right. We're being a little positive, so I'm gonna go negative. Dogman, D tier, another cop.
I don't even know what he does, to be honest, but
No idea. He's wearing that cop uniform.
Yep.
So
He's hopefully he's not one of those drug sniffing dogs. Those
Might be.
snitches.
All right, Mark, where you going?
So I think we gotta. Yeah, I keep not wanting to put someone in S tier, and then I just take a look at Odie, and I'm like, Odie's S tier, man. That all he just wants to do is, be loved there. He's always trying to get Garfield's love, and Garfield just keeps being a dick to him, but he's always there for him. So S tier, Odie's a good dog.
Okay. Yeah, unconditional love he shows to Garfield, who does not return it. So
yeah,
never.
All right, Dan.
Ooh, all right. I feel like I've been really positive too, but it's hard not to be. So many good boys and girls here. Let's go with. I'm gonna go with Hound from Fox and the Hound. I know the allegory for Fox and the Hound. Looking past the differences that you have. So that's a very important message. It's a very sad movie, right? Because then they try to turn Hound on his best friend Fox, but he redeems himself. He defends Fox. That's what a good friend does, right? Even when you don't agree with each other all the time, and there's differences between you, you still stick up for the little guy. You stick up for the weak. And that's what Hound did. So I think Hound has to go S tier as well.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna pick Goofy, who I think he's S tier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think he might be, of the Mickey friends of Disney, he might be the best. He taught us how to ski, taught us how to do other sports, taught us how to weightlifting, and was a good dad to Max.
Man, I'm glad you brought that up. It was like, what a heartbreaking movie.
Yeah, and as a man that just came back from Disney recently, Dan, do we need to dive in? Like, should Goofy even be on this list? Because according to Disney, he's not technically a dog.
Well,
he's a funny animal.
He scared my son when he met him. So
okay, S tier.
Yeah, S tier. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like he was smoking in some old cartoons too.
I feel like they all were, right?
Yeah, there's that famous thing with the Flintstones where they're literally selling Pall Mall cigarettes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
during the cartoon.
They're not dogs though.
No, but literally like cartoon characters selling cigarettes.
Yeah, they would just all smoke.
All right, Mark, where you going?
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna. I see one person that might be a negative, but I kind of don't know the name. But if Ant sees any more that deserve D, I'll let him do it. So I will just go with a good boy that's been around for a long time, got renewed to go even longer. We're gonna go Santa's Little Helper, S tier. He has to deal with that insane family for going on 30 plus years now. Longest living dog in history. And he just always there. He's always he no matter what, Santa's Little Helper will be there.
Just a lovable dumb goofball.
Dan, what about you?
Okay, I'm torn between a couple. I'm going to go with. This is getting tough now because some of these dogs I don't even know. We talked about it off of prior to coming back for the segment, I feel like Scooby Doo's got to go S tier, right?
Yeah.
Scooby with his Scooby snacks. Well, the show's named after him, for God's sake.
Yeah,
True.
and even though they're probably doing law enforcement type work, I think Scooby's just there for the snacks.
Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, we discussed off podcast that Scooby-Doo does not count as a cop.
Yeah, I think he's more of like a Ghostbuster type of thing.
Yeah, he's just there for the snacks and being with his best friend Shaggy.
Just getting high, eating snacks, eating hoagies in one bite.
Yeah, that's all he's there for. He doesn't care what else is going on.
Yeah, they don't care if they stop the phantom of the amusement park. He just wants to eat. He's got the munchies.
He'd rather not. He's a scared cat.
Right. He'd rather be anywhere else than what they're doing.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to pick one similar to Brain. It was literally the brains of the operation. He probably doesn't get enough credit. I'm going to go with Gromit.
Yeah.
Wallace and Gromit. Another S tier.
Yeah. Gromit's great.
Yeah. Picking up the slack from Wallace, who is a big dumb boy.
And no arguments from me.
All right. Mark.
Yeah. So, trying to see where to go next.
Is this the dog from Duck Hunt?
Yes, it is. I was not going with him, but yes. You know what? Let's just get him off the board there. Can I do a twofer here, Ant?
Sure.
Yeah. Can we get S tier Good Dogs, Lady and the Tramp?
Sure.
Yeah.
Could have let me.
I feel that they should not be separated and talked about separately as both equal stars of their movie and both good dogs in their own right. Lady and the Tramp definitely S tier.
Why do I not see Tramp?
I don't think that's Tramp with the red handkerchief.
Oh, this one is from Oliver and Company.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Then just Lady.
Lady.
Why is Tramp not in here?
Question.
That's really weird.
Because he's homeless. All right. That's why. They don't like homeless dogs, apparently.
Yes. This is my fault for doing this through the stream feed instead of the link you sent us.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's a scraggly looking dog. That's got to be Tramp.
Yeah.
All right, Dan.
Okay. Clifford. It's a big red dog.
Oh yeah. Enough said.
Yeah, enough said. S tier. Bigger than normal dogs. I love looking at this list right now. It's just like there's 10 S tiers and 2 D tiers.
All right. I'm going Rolf.
Yeah,
I know he's a Muppet. He's great. He's one of the best Muppets. Top Muppet.
Back in the day, he was one of my favorites.
Yeah. S tier.
And
Big
we're
floppy
saying
ears.
yeah, we're saying Muppet positive.
Yes.
Yes.
We're not like British Muppet. Yeah.
All right, Mark.
Yeah. Slightly gun shy after thinking that was Tramp. Let's go. Let's say someone that's lovably fun in their shows. We'll put Donald up there in S tier as well. Donald. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking I was going to make a Kingdom Hearts joke with Donald Duck. Pluto. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, I was like, I don't know. It could be any of these dogs. I don't know what they are.
Now it ruined. I was going to make a Kingdom Hearts joke, and I fucked up.
Well, wrong podcast.
Wrong podcast. That was the TC Tam gods.
Yep.
Striking me down for trying to bring in.
That's your version of being brought back to life as a dog.
Yeah. calling Pluto Donald.
All right, Dan, where are you going?
Let's go with Pork Chop from Doug.
Yeah.
S tier. Just
hell yeah.
A boy and his dog.
Yeah. And he has to deal with Doug.
Yeah,
So
and
that's reason enough.
All his weird fantasies.
Yeah.
But he's Doug's confidant, man. Doug does what a lot of us do with dogs. We tell the dogs how we're feeling, and they take it in. They don't judge you. That's Pork Chop. And he also gives advice somehow.
Yeah. Without even talking.
He's just a good boy.
All right. I'm going with Mr. Peabody. Invented time travel. Has to deal with a dumbass Sherman.
Quiet, you.
Yeah. That's all I gotta say about Mr. Peabody. I think there is something to be said about the fact that he does not care about the space-time continuum. He freely goes back in time, but all in the name of science and education.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give it to him.
And
We'd all do the same if we invented time travel.
I would fuck with time travel hard.
Yeah.
So hard.
All right. How about we say one last round?
Yeah.
Mark.
So this one might need a little bit of discussion because I had to look it up to remember. So my choice here is Underdog. And the problem with Underdog is that he originally started out as a police dog, but he got disgraced for mistaking a bomb for a leg of pork, as I just found out. Or the opposite, opposite, leg of pork for a bomb. So they kicked him off the force, and then he got superpowers and started fighting crimes that the cops couldn't solve. So I
think this is very fashy.
Yeah, I was trying to find a way to get him S tier, but sometimes you just can't take the police dog out of the dog. It's got to be D tier.
He does. He works for the newspaper, so
I don't know.
Right. So he is reporting the truth. I think
he's beating up criminals without due process, though.
Oh, okay, that's true. That is true. I'll give you that. Yeah.
I see where you're going. It's tough, but a cab is a cab. A means all.
I didn't realize he was a police dog. That's upsetting because I liked Underdog.
All right, Dan.
All right. So I'm gonna pick a dog that we had talked about also before starting this segment. I'm gonna go with Crypto, and I think Crypto belongs in the S tier because I don't think he counts as a cop because he doesn't work for any law enforcement agency. He takes care of Kal-El, and Kal-El Superman could clearly just dominate Earth if he wanted to.
Thank you, Dan. I didn't know that.
Some people might not. Listen, not everyone has our comic book acumen. But
I was wondering for the way you said that. Kal-El,
like
Superman.
For those of you not in the know, no, but yeah, like Superman could easily just kind of take over the Earth if he had wanted to, but he doesn't. He allows freedom of choice for us to just destroy ourselves, and he could stop it if he wanted to, as seen in Superman Red Sun when he becomes a communist and just kind of puts everyone under his boot. But Crypto's, I think he's an extension of Superman. So they both fight for justice. And yeah, I think he deserves to be S tier. I think he's a super good boy.
Okay. I'm going to do 2 to end this because I've been looking at this anime dog right here, and I know a cat when I see one. So that's D tier.
I know when I see one.
Oh, this one, the white cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at it too. I was like, what the hell is that?
That could be a pretty poor rendering of like what's that primarily Japanese dog?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that you see in like all.
Sure.
But I know a cat when I see one.
There's also that whole thing where anime of that time period, even the humans, they all had like cat-like faces for some odd reason. But yes, that is definitely an undercover cop there.
Oh, I said cat. Yeah, that's why.
No. I know you said cat.
Yeah,
but it's like he's trying to pose as a dog.
Yeah, cats are just bad dogs. But I'm gonna finish this off with Muttley from Wacky Races. He's just in it for the goofs, man. Just in it for the goofs.
Yeah,
he's always laughing.
Listen, there are no bad dogs, only bad owners and
or cops.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is, Dick Dastardly is a bad owner.
Sure,
that's true.
Right? Is it Dick Dastardly?
I think so.
Right.
Oh, I mean,
I'm misremembering my Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Yeah, Dick Dastardly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so when your owner is Dick Dastardly, you're gonna become what Muttley is, and you're just in it for the goofs.
Yeah, it's there for a good time.
Yeah, and he's got an infectious laugh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's our list. A whole bunch of good boys, and then 3 cops and a cat.
And a cat.
Who we have decided is an undercover cop dog.
Yeah.
Or a cop cat trying to pose the dog.
Some that we didn't list. Ren, Brian, Dog from Cat Dog, Doug from Up,
Huckleberry
Hong
Hound.
Kong Phooey, Huckleberry Hound,
Marmaduke.
Marmaduke.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it's just like
rapper.
I feel like Marmaduke is just a shittier version of Scooby Doo, right?
I have no idea. I don't think he solves crimes.
He just eats a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Parappa the Rapper's here. I didn't want to put him up there because there's some cultural appropriation going on there from
A little bit, yeah.
From Parappa.
Sure. There's Spot from the baby books.
Slinky Dog.
Slinky Dog. Dog from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, Zero. I didn't see him down there.
This dog that's just chilling out with a wife beater on.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I wish it would tell you what they were when you hovered over.
That'd be nice.
Is that Rin Tin Tin? Is that the dog next to the wife beater dog?
Or
I think so.
Tintin.
Tintin.
Or is the guy Tintin?
I don't know. I never got into Tintin. The one dog over here, the lab or the border collie next to the ghost dog.
Mm-hmm.
That do you guys know who that dog is?
Which one?
The border collie.
This one?
Yeah, the one like on the bottom, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That guy, that dog found some good shit.
He's a satanic dog.
From what?
It's a Cartoon Network or an Adult Swim cartoon where the dog is basically like a Satanist.
Okay.
Oh, then he should definitely have been on S tier.
But it's fucking wild, that show. I forget what the name of it. Hold on, I gotta just real quick. Was it Adult Swim?
Tintin's dog's name is Snowy, by the way.
Snowy, okay. Adult Swim dog. Mr. Pickles. His name is Mr. Pickles.
That's right.
It's the Goodman family, especially their 6-year-old son named Tommy, and their family's border collie, the satanic Mr. Pickles. It's exactly what you think it would be like. Just a gory Adult Swim, like Metalocalypse kind of aspect. But yeah, S tier for Mr. Pickles.
All right. All those good boys and girls. And that is our show this week. Check us out on all our socials. You can check us out at TikTampod on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. They Called Us a Movie on TikTok. You can also find us on YouTube. If we have a Gmail account, you can hit us up at tictampod@gmail.com. And of course, we mentioned at the top of the show, we now have Patreon, where you can get free episodes, free ad-free episodes, and a bunch of other stuff coming down the pipeline, as well as
join our Discord
server as well. So check that out at patreon.com/tictampod and join us there. And some discussions. We're going to be starting to post monthly polls for monthly movies to watch, as well as just random discussions of stuff that we're watching, stuff that we're into, and all that kind of fun stuff. Trying to build a community here. But join us over there at Patreon. And that's going to wrap us up this week. The director of Quigley is William Byron Hillman. So for Dan Aquino and Mark Myers, this is Anthony Vecchio telling William Byron Hillman, well, you certainly made a movie, didn't you? Thanks for listening to They Called Us a Movie. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at TicTamPod. That's TCTAM Pod. You can also check us out on TikTok at They Called Us a Movie.